Today we're going to be talking about the XERA cartridge case. And it's a cartridge case that I recently developed for an existing board. So stay tuned and I'll tell you all about it. Welcome back to 8-Bit Resurgence and 3D Thursday, where today we're going to be talking about the XERA cartridge case. I called it the XERA cartridge case because it's actually an XE right angle cartridge extender board for the XE computers. So basically what that board does is it plugs into the back of an XE and turns the cartridge vertical. So it's more in line with the way an 800 XL or a 600 XL allows you to plug the cartridges in vertically. I've become a pretty big fan of plugging the cartridges in vertically ever since I developed the up cart for the 64. Then I started using the Atari 800 and 600 XLs with their vertical cartridge plugins, and I really like it. Then I went over to the XE and I was plugging in the back like a 64. Well, Bits of the Past was an online Atari web shop that used to sell these boards, and that closed down a while back, but the owner of that, Dropcheck, released many of the boards from their shop to the world. So what I did is I grabbed the Gerber files and did a fabrication run of the boards, and I made a couple of these. And as you can see, it's a very basic board. It has the edge connector for the Atari and the cartridge connector on the edge there. But when you plug it in as is, you really would have to put some feet or something underneath here, because as soon as you push a cartridge onto it, it's going to twist on that cartridge port inside the machine, and undoubtedly eventually it would break it. So given that designing cases is something that I do quite frequently, I thought, well, why not create a new cartridge case for it? So that's what I did, and I called it the XERA cartridge case, and that's this guy here. It's a basic cartridge case. I'm going to move over here and show it in this camera. It's a nice sturdy shell. It's got the cap on top with the shield, and that prevents you from plugging the Atari cartridge in upside down, which is quite common on all Ataris. They all have that shield on them to prevent that. And on the underside, it's got a foot, and that gives you that support under the board that you need. So you can just push the cartridge down and it just seats in there. It's a very basic cartridge. It's got the foot underneath. It screws together with 4 black oxide screws, and they screw into heat sets embedded into the lid. So we'll plug it in. It just goes in the back here, just like that. And then we can plug a cartridge in. So if we start with something like Defender, it's got this protection at the bottom that prevents you from exposing the edge connector of the cartridge. And you need those little tabs to go in there to release it so you can plug it in. And those exist on this cartridge. So we just plug it in like that. And you can see enough of the edge of the screen to see that it powers on and it plugs in okay. It's got a little bit of an edge on the back of the cartridge that prevents you or allows you to hang on to it when you're plugging or unplugging and plugging cartridges in to stabilize the machine, if you like. Here you can see that it cannot plug in backwards, which is a feature of that cartridge. Here's an Atari cartridge. It's slightly different. That's open. However, the back is solid, just like on regular Atari cartridges, that prevent you from plugging it in backwards. And again, it just plugs in into the extender and it powers up and works okay. And this extender works with all sorts of different cartridges. I have an Atari Max here, and that plugs in nicely and it just powers on, no problem. Here's an Atari Ultimate cartridge that just plugs in nice and powers on. Again, no problem. And the last cartridge I'll plug in is the Sparta-DOS cartridge. And again, that just plugs in like any other cartridge and powers on, and it just works. It's a really nice little board. It's inexpensive. If you're so inclined, it's easy to solder up, and the cartridge case isn't going to be very expensive. It's going to be available on my web shop, and I'll put the link in the description below. And you'll be able to get it with the board or without if you already have the board. And I guess that's about all I wanted to say about it. Just thanks to Dropcheck for making that available to everybody. That was very kind, since you didn't, your situation changed such that you didn't want to sell to the community anymore. At least you made them available to the community so that it can live on, which is very nice. Last thing I wanted to share, since this is 3D Thursday, is some shots of this particular cartridge case printing on my FDM printers. For those interested, it's I print them sequentially. So I print the entire case all at once on the print bread, one piece at a time. So the way I had this print set up, and I'll put it up while I'm talking here so you can see. I print the top first, and that has support material built into the sliced model. I print that, and then once that's finished, it moves over and prints the foot, which is a small piece that attaches to the bottom. And then once that's printed, then it moves over to the back of the printer and prints the bottom of the cartridge case. So the whole thing takes a few hours to print at the resolution that I've been printing it at. And I remove the support material, put the heat sets in, screw it all together, and it's done. So it turned out really nice. I'm quite happy with it. And yeah, thanks for coming along and watching the new XERA cartridge case that I developed. I'm quite happy with it, and I'm going to be really enjoying using this with my XE, because I really don't like stuffing the cartridges in the back anymore. I like plugging them straight up and down, so it's going to be really nice. If you have an XE, you should think about getting one of these, whether you pick it up from my web shop or whether you go and download the Gerbers and make one of these things yourself. It's a really easy soldering job for you, and if you like doing that sort of thing, then give it a try. So thanks for coming along and watching my video. If you do like the content that I've been providing, please like and subscribe. We'll see you next time on 8-Bit Resurgence. Bye for now.